With the current system, the state, through the judiciary arm, on purpose, creates a gatekeeper parent and a visitor parent. And if the animosity lasts long enough, then the visitor parent will run out of emotional resources and run out of financial resources, and you will end up with a fatherless child. The state becomes the enabler of fatherlessness. But let's remember back to the US Supreme Court rulings. The rights of parents to the care, custody and nurture of their children is of such character that it cannot be denied without violating those fundamental principles of liberty and justice which lie at the base of all our civil and political institutions. And such right is a fundamental right, protected by the First Amendment, the 5th, the 9th and the 14th. And as recently as 2000 in Troxel and Granville, the liberty interest that at issue at this case, the interest of parents in the care, custody and control of their children, is perhaps the oldest of the most fundamental liberty interests recognised by this court. This committee truly has the best interest. If it has the best interests of the child at heart, then it must create legislation that will guarantee that my parent-child bond will never be severed. The only way you can achieve this, the only way you will get cooperation and co-parenting between parents, is if you take away the power hand from either parent. Take away the ability of one parent to control the other parent's relationship with their child. What is truly in the best interest of the child is to take away the adversarial process, take away the conflict, take away the concept of a winner in family court, because as sure as you have a parent that wins, you have a child that loses. The only way a child will win in family court is if it has guarantee that its bond with both of its parents can never be severed. And that is truly in the best interest of the child. Now, the situation we're confronted with is really pretty simple. It's about time or money. This bill is about the time both parents spend, or should I say invest, in their children. It is not about the transfer of money from one parent to another. I believe that the time a parent gives to their child is the most valuable thing a parent can contribute to the healthy development of their own flesh and blood. Time with your children will win over money. The vast majority of right-thinking people already know this. I can guarantee this committee that equal parenting will happen. The only variable is when. Those people that thought the earth was flat ended up with egg on their face. Today, those people who believe in the status quo, unequal parenting, will be judged tomorrow by the damage that will be done and has been done to our children. By the obvious fact that this committee exists is telling us that status quo, unequal parenting is failing our children. Do the members of this committee think that the flow of money from one parent to another is more important? Do the members of this committee think that the current process that drains parents' money and ultimately the children's inheritance into the pockets of attorneys and divorce industry professionals is most important? Or do the members of this committee believe that the time a parent spends with their children is most important? Time that is conflict-free and cooperative? Are the members of this committee going to sit in front of the bus and do what is right for the children of Wisconsin? For the parents who need this bill, I can guarantee you that if you give a vindictive parent primary controlling position, you will end up with damaged fatherless children. The reason this committee exists is that we recognise there are far too many damaged fatherless children in our communities. Let me take you through the realities of the current court process. The divorce petition is filed. It can't be agreed upon, so you're ordered to mediation. But let's have a look at this for a minute. You have parents that work out what's best for their children and they don't go to court. And you have parents that abandon, that don't go to court. You have two parents that want to be fully involved in their kids' lives and they're in court. But they can't work it out because one of the parents is greedy. So it's already broken. You go to mediation. I've been to mediation 5 times and it's failed every single time because the parent with the upper hand doesn't need to negotiate. After mediation fails, well, let me talk about it. The definition of mediation is to get to the end of it and try and have some sort of plan for how you're going to parent your children. A parenting plan. That's what mediation is supposed to produce. A way that you can have a plan to parent your children. So parenting plans are already a big integral part of what happens in the divorce process. If it fails, it means you've got two parents that can't agree on a plan for their parents. So then the court says, well, put in a parenting plan. So mum puts in a parenting plan that says every second weekend and one night through the week, and dad puts in a parenting plan that says equal placement. But the parenting plans are this far apart. So all the judge does is says, well, I've got two different ideas, I'm going to make a judgment. Parenting plans are already there, but the judge doesn't have to use either of them. He doesn't have to compromise with them. He can make up his own mind about what he wants to do. So the importance of parenting plans don't get you any further than mediation or Department of Social Services reports or GALs that give reports as well. If you're still going down the track of not being able to work out what you're supposed to do with your kids in a fair, equitable and respectful fashion, then a social worker is appointed from the Department of Social Services, and a guardian ad litem is ordered for your child. And those guys get together and they do a report on you. Now, I have copies here for everyone if you want to read it, but I'm going to read the GAL and social workers report of my first go round at this. Both Peter Kerr and Christine Lucas share a deep love for their daughter and both want the very best for her. This worker was struck by the fact that both of those parents have so many positive attributes which will be very helpful in raising a happy, secure and successful child. Both parents need to work together, communicate and make plans around meeting the best interests of Mackenzie. The following placement schedule is being recommended by this social worker. Peter will have alternate weekends from Friday at 5 p.m. till Sunday at 7 p.m. Peter would have weekday overnight visits on a Thursday night when there is not a weekend, and Tuesday overnights when there has not been a weekend visit. This would allow Peter to spend frequent, regular and meaningful time with Mackenzie every 2 or 3 days. Hopefully Peter and Christine can work together, discuss their daughter's needs and make joint decisions for her best interests. Peter Kerr and Christine Lucas share a deep love for their daughter. And then this social worker turned around and recommended me a 10-4 split. And it's been hell to pay ever since. After the guardian ad litem give their report and the social worker give their report, all of those go into chambers with the judge and they all discuss it as scheduling conference. At that conference, behind closed doors, the decision's already worked out. The judge will make his decision right there and then. He sees the social worker's report, he gets the guardian ad litem's interpretation, and he hears the two attorneys speak. Coming out of that scheduling conference, the attorney for the father normally comes out and recommends that dad take the bad deal because he knows what's going to happen in trial. Dad accept the unequal placement under duress. That's what happens to me, and since I've been involved in this, I've got hundreds of calls from fathers in exactly the same situation. Should I go to trial or should I take the deal that the guardian ad litem and the social work recommended? So you get stipulations, long-winded, disputed divorces where stipulations occur before trial. When I hear industry professionals say, oh, most of them are sorted out, very few go to trial. No, dads know the outcome and they're not prepared to spend thousands of dollars more on a court case with an already known outcome. I've heard testimony about how the current laws introduced in 1999 and effective in 2000 need more time to settle in. Let me tell you the truth about what is settled in since those 2000 laws came into effect.